I guess the left really is racist. I could be way more misogynistic than that. Okay, I had the kid gloves on. I can go. I'll get me a real platform. Okay, I'll show you. Well, we really need to cut down on the number of people criticizing Candace Owens for being a grifter, because all they're doing is reinforcing her narrative that black conservatives get targeted for their position. I can't believe you people. I can't believe you people. I really can't. You could be the nicest little bitch baby in the universe. You could be kind and civil. You could never be problematic. You could shave off all of the edgy shit posting, all the humor, all the problematic behavior you want from the left. But at the end of the day, you're still defending degenerates. They're going to call you out for it. You're still pro-BLM, and they'll call you out for wanting cities burned down. You're still pro-healthcare for trans children, and they'll call you out for wanting to groom children. You will never, ever be immune to their criticism.
Good lord, what a political mess this week turned out to be. Especially when regarding to trans issues. What our mercy. Detransition Awareness Day. Fucking National Women's Day. And the fiasco that came with that. Vaush being Vaush. And now we have TERFs trending in arts and culture. That's nice. That's really nice. Alright, let's talk about this particular fiasco that happened. Something that Vaush decided to post on Twitter, talking about J.K. Rowling. And yeah, I'm sure you've all seen this. Looked at this mess of a tweet. Well, this part isn't a mess. It's the bottom part right here. This right here. That's the problem. If you just left it right here, it would have been fine. Because, like, I agree. All J.K. Rowling had to do was shut the fuck up. So she could have been, and she would have been the most uncritically beloved for like a century. just never say anything. Period. Just shut up and dribble, kind of thing. I'm gonna take that from Candace Owens because it's funny. But this part right here, why? Why? What's the point in posting this? Because obviously, when you talk about J.K. Rowling, you're speaking to her being a TERF and being very, very hostile to the trans community. Which would have been fine if you had just told J.K. Rowling specifically to shut the fuck up and never speak for the rest of her life. Just, stitch her mouth shut so she'll never have to open her mouth and we have to hear a fucking insufferable voice. That'd have been fine if you had left it like that. Something like that. But you had to throw this little thing in here talking about women. Really? I know it was a joke. I understand Vaush does not actually mean this. But this is twitter.com. And if you've seen any of my posts, you know how I feel about certain types of edgy humor being posted on Twitter. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to say it like this. Twitter is not designed for jokes like this that target marginalized groups to thrive. Twitter is not designed for this to just, it's not, Twitter is not context sensitive. It's not. Twitter is more context resistant, context repellent. Twitter is not designed for you to you scroll through Twitter, you read a thing, and then you just react to it. That's about it. It's not designed for you to see all the surrounding context for it. It's just literally you're just scrolling down, doom scrolling. You look at a post, you look at a post, you look at a post, you look at a post. You see something that makes you mad, then you react. Nobody's gonna spend like an extra 2 seconds to see the context behind the tweet that you left. All they see is this. Can I blame them? No, not really. And unfortunately, what Vaush does not seem to realize is he is a very, very big YouTuber. A lot of eyes are on him. That's a problem. On the flip side of that, not everyone knows who he is, which adds to the problem. Because when Vaush is well known, there are going to be a large swarm of fans that love and adore him, and people that are going to want to destroy him and take him down. That's a fact. And to the people that have no idea who the fuck Vaush is, and their first impression of Vaush is something like this: women be quieter and start apologizing challenge. Can you blame them for performatively hating Vaush and everything about Vaush, and then proceeding to listen to anybody that wants to slander, smear, or say Vaush, or just, you know, throw out any kind of accusation at Vaush, like he's a pedophile or he's a Nazi or anything like that? Of course, people that have no idea who the fuck Vaush is are going to believe that shit. After they see tweets like this, and anybody can spin it any way they want to, no one's going to know that this is a joke. Even though it is, it's a stupid joke because he posted on Twitter.com. Never posted shit on Twitter. Period. Like I said, it's not designed for shit like this to work. It's not. I want to talk about this motherfucker right here because this is really fucking stupid. This fucking stupid ass bitch ass fucking pussy ass white knight. Like, and he goes on to say, seriously though, the people going, I can't believe you posted this on International Women's Day, absolutely slay me. That was it. That was the point. That was the joke. I swear the people that insist he's actually misogynistic on the basis of occasional jokes, in spite of the literal hours of content he spent championing and defending feminism from douchebags online. Valiant Shadow, shut your bitch ass up. Seriously, shut the fuck up, okay? Nobody gives a fuck, okay? Seriously, no one. Not a single person gives a shit. To the people that don't know Vaush, or the people that already hate Vaush, they're going to believe that he's a misogynistic asshole. Period. And there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. Stop white knighting him. Just stop. It's not going to work. Please stop. White knighting him is not going to help him. White knighting him only makes you look like a fucking clown. Period. It does not save anyone. It's a waste of time. Jesus fucking Christ. Good Lord. Like, seriously. Who cares if it's a joke? Nobody gives a fuck if it's a joke. No one's gonna know it's a fucking joke. And no one cares if it's a fucking joke. Who gives a shit? As far as they see it, Vaush is a Nazi, pedophile, misogynistic piece of shit. And no one is gonna waste their time looking at his videos because of it. And whose fault is that? His fault. Because he wants to post stupid shit like this because he thinks it's funny. And of course, he did get fucking absolutely flamed fire roasted for it, which I believe is honestly well deserved, because when you're gonna post dumb, edgy jokes like this on Twitter, you deserve to get flamed. Period. You deserve it. You asked for it. You wanted this to happen. And you know what? Vaush does want this to happen. He's a confrontational person. He likes to be... He just likes conflict, period. He thrives on conflicts. He loves it. And he even tells his fans to just stop defending him because it's a waste of fucking time. Because, of course, because in his words, well, of course people are going to slander me. Of course people are going to smear me and say I'm a pedophile and this and that whatsoever. Yeah, jackass. Because you make a fucking complete ass of yourself every time you fucking post stupid tweets like this. What does this serve? What does this do for the trans community? Seriously, what? What does adding this little part to the thread do for the trans community? Please explain that to me. What does it do? He does explain it in his video. And it's a pretty shit explanation, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna get into that later. And of course, yeah, we all know, everybody knows about this part. J.K. Rowling saw this shit. I'm gonna be honest with you, before I even go any further, I swear to God, I strongly believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I strongly believe J.K. Rowling did not know who the fuck Vaush was before she saw this fucking tweet. I swear, I hope, you know, I hope nobody corrects me on this one. And I hope I'm right on this because I don't give a shit about J.K. Rowling. Like, I swear to God, I want it to be true that all she was doing was just like fucking going in the search bar on Twitter, searching up her name to see anybody talking shit about her, and she saw this and decided to just fucking flame him. What I think is funny. It honestly, it makes her look like a fucking it makes her look like a fucking crybaby bully bitch who's just looking for anybody to get mad at because she's fucking fragile. And of course she's like, well, you and your ILK, I have no idea. Ilk failed to realize is how tediously familiar I find your tactics. I had a violent ex-husband who used to tell me life would be great if only I'd comply, but you're making the same mistake he did. Women like me can't be bullied out of resistance. Okay. Okay, Rowley. Alright. Yeah. You know, because the trans community are, you know, they're fascists, you know. They have guns, they're marching through the streets forcing you to I don't know. What are they forcing you to do? What are they doing to you? Seriously. You're fucking, what are you, like a billionaire right now? Millionaire, billionaire? I don't, you're sitting pretty on the high towers, bitch. Well, what oppression are you fighting against? What resistance are you, resistance against what? This just triggers the fuck out of me. She's talking about resistance. Resistance against what? Is there a war going on I don't know about? Is there a trans civil war going on in the West I don't know about? So all right, cool. But yeah, that's that. And I'll give Vaush this though. I'll give him this. This is a pretty good clapback. This is a good clapback right here. Listen, Joanne. Calling her out of her name. Nice. You don't get to play the victim card when you're advocating for taking away women's rights here. Trans women are raped and killed in men's facilities, and you want to keep them there because of your trauma. Quit making your feelings other people's oppression. Boom. Nice one. Stupid ass who you never should have made in the first place. But hey, that's a pretty good clapback against somebody who's just absolutely, completely disgusting. Arya Banks, why the fuck do you follow J.K. Rowling? Probably the same reason aristocracy follows. Because they like seeing her shit 12. And probably the same reason I used to follow Donald Trump. Anyway, I digress. Moving on. Yeah, I want to talk about how like how just how fragile she is, how she's literally weaponizing her own trauma to, you know, to take down the trans community, to make them look like bullies, make them look like abusive assholes. Like why? Seriously, you being abused has nothing to do with trans people or Vaush for that matter. Like, what? But that's the problem here, is it? This is like literally, legitimately shit like this, especially since J.K. Rowling is really, really fucking huge, and Vaush is also really, really fucking huge. It really, it really does create a rift between cis women and trans women, doesn't it? Like, the way she spun this. Of course, people who have no idea who the fuck Vaush is or like barely know anything about trans issues are gonna look at what she says, their quote unquote favorite writer. Look at what she says and just nod their heads and clap their little seal fins like she's so uber base. Yeah, I'm oppressed. Yes, women are oppressed, but not by trans folk. oppressed. This is good though. Your trauma is not an excuse to discriminate against women. I trans victims are more. There is some good that came. Well, I don't even know because people would have been like fucking like J.K. Rowling would have done some stupid shit and then they would have like you know flamed her anyway. But I like the fact that she's getting flamed for this. To be honest with you, it is well deserved, and this is a long time coming. And I hope for years to come, people continue to fucking flame her and make her out to be the piece of shit that she actually is. Thank you for speaking up for the truly oppressed billionaire women. Nice. Nice. Like another thing I want to talk about is the fact that this whole beef takes away from the issue at hand. It does. Cause like Vaush's original tweet was obviously like referring to her being a turf and like making trans people like saying that trans people are garbage and all this dumb crap. And then he makes this tweet and then people are just laser focusing on this that had no business being there. The women be quieter comment has no business being there. It does nothing. All it does is take eyes away from the issue at hand, and now it's focusing on this. And now that J.K. Rowling has like quoted it and has started like clapping back on it, and now people are clapping back at her. It takes away. It kind of does take away from the issue at hand because now people are more focused on the fact that Vaush and J.K. Rowling are beefing. That's the main thing that made headlines. Sure, people in here are talking about trans issues. At the end of the day, what was trending? Trans issues? No. It was Vaush's beef with J.K. Rowling. That was it. Two cis white people beefing on the internet. That's all that people were talking about. And that makes headlines. And I don't care what articles people wrote. Nobody reads fucking articles. Nobody's gonna fucking waste 15 minutes of their time reading a goddamn article. They're gonna see a fucking headline about two white idiots with money beefing with each other on the internet. Hello? Yeah, that's it. And now let's look at Vaush's video. Like this situation was bad enough, right? Please, mouse. Situation was bad enough. But Vaush had to go and make a 22-minute video trying to justify it. Yeah, I watched it. I barely listened to it. Well, I can't say barely. I listened to a lot of it. I tuned out a little bit, and then I listened to it back again. I don't know how much context will justify what he did. He'll say a bunch of like technically true shit, say this and that conservative's bad whatsoever, which is a lot of what I heard him say. And I'll be like, yeah, sure, but what does that have to do with the tweet that you put out? Oh yeah, let's take a look at this.
My goodness. My goodness. As always, it seems my own community is the center of the pushback that I get. Whew.
Yeah, well deserved, man.
Oh my god. It's unreadable out here. I assume the screen just went black because mere moments before deciding to record this, I decided to turn off Elden Ring. It was making my computer fan too loud. Okay, here's the dealio, folks. First of all, we raised over $300,000 for Ukrainian refugees. It's a shame that fact getting lost a little bit in the...
Okay, yeah. I mean, really based and all, but can we... Really good. I'm not gonna, like, talk shit about him for this, because I'm glad he did what he did. It was really good. Nice, but, that's not the issue. What does he talk about?
You know, media buzz about my excellent opinions and high-profile.
That's another thing. I gotta point this out. This whole fiasco happened while he was doing his Elden Ring stream, Elden Ring charity stream for Ukraine. Literally, you were doing something really good in base, and you fucking overshadowed that with Twitter drama. What? How do you? Only Vaush could do this, bro. Only Vaush could do something like this. Only Vaush, bro. Only. No one else does this. No one else does this but him.
Disputes, but it's a real thing, and I'm very proud of everyone in my community. Thank you. Taking the day off. Cause you know I did an all-nighter. Not young anymore. I'm so sorry. But anyway, let's get to the heart of the matter. Okay. J.K. Rowling, not a great person. Beefed with me on Twitter. You see, there I was innocently tweeting out misogynistic stuff on International Women's Day. All J.K. Rowling had to do was shut the F up. I see you, YouTube. And she would have been almost uncritically beloved for like a century. Women be quieter and start apologizing challenge. Phenomenal stuff. The joke here being, of course, that a common slogan for women's liberation is women be loud, stop apologizing, a sentiment which I agree with, in most cases, unless you're J.K. Rowling. So, ironic misogyny, send tweet, very funny, haha, Vaush problematic, I get it.
Haha, hoo hoo hee 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 hee, haha, hoo hoo hee hee. Another thing that I have to point, Twitter. But if he had made this joke on YouTube, on his channel, where people have already invested time into watching his content, and for the most part, pretty much enjoy his content, or are just already hate watching him for whatever reason. I don't know how many people actually are just willing to, who hate Vaush, are willing to sit through like 22 to an hour minutes of Vaush. So of course people are gonna get the joke. 99.9% of the time, people are just gonna understand that he's fucking joking. Like, if he had made that joke on his live stream or something, I personally wouldn't be this pissed. This probably wouldn't even be a conversation. And he has made jokes like this before, and he hasn't gotten any backlash for it. For the most part. The only things he got backlash for on live video was the pedophile thing, which was a debate where there were not only his audience's eyes on him, but another person's audiences had eyes on him. Same thing with the non-compete thing, where he quote unquote did the quote unquote Jewish question, which he actually didn't, but there were a lot of non-compete fans' eyes on him. But if it was just a live stream, you know what I mean. If it was just his fans watching him, then it wouldn't be a problem.
You think I'm unfunny? That's okay. We're not talking about that, all right? The issue I have, well, no, actually. There are a couple issues I have, but I just want to talk about one. I already know that I've decided on an inflammatory title for this YouTube video, so I want to present...
Why would you do that, like, for real? Why? This is not... dude. Nah, bro.
An argument, if that's okay with you guys. See, I languish, my life. It's a tragedy because I care a lot about optics as a concept, but people in my community have, I think, sometimes latched onto that concept in a way that I think is counterproductive. I really worry that...
No. Optics are pretty important. The only time you shouldn't care about optics is if you would have to compromise your core values.
There are some positions that I and my community hold that seem to run contrary to the attitudes you guys sometimes take towards the necessity for optically good behavior. Like the rioting during BLM. There was rioting, and that was bad optics. It's just a thing that tends to happen during protests. But we knew... the fine people in my community, right? That, an obsession with optics doesn't mean that you get to allow the other side to hyperfixate on the most optically pernicious elements of whatever kind of advocacy you're engaging in. Am I comparing my misogynistic tweets to the BLM movement? No. Of
I was
course not.
hoping
The
you weren't.
BLM movement was never as influential and effective as my message. Listen, the BLM movement and my misogynistic tweets led to about the same amount of police defunding, okay? In that respect, at least, there's a comparison.
Wait, what?
Listen, the BLM movement and my misogynistic tweets led to about the same amount of police defunding, okay? In that respect, at least, there's a comparison.
Yeah.
I can't swear
You're
YouTube.
right.
Okay.
You're right. You know what? Actually, he might have a point here, because the BLM riots and Vaush's ironic misogynistic tweet are equally as unnecessary and inconsequential and potentially damaging to their respective movements.
Be serious for a second,
That's
okay? So,
fuck you.
the issue I have is that there are a ton of people on the left, in my community and elsewise, that are hand-wringing over this. There are people who are saying stuff like, my misogyny is some kind of setup to throw trans people under the bus by making the movement look bad. That's psychotic, of course.
That anybody who's claiming that is just a fucking moron. It's not that simple. Vaush is just an edgy idiot who just should not have tweeted this stupid dumb tweet. He thought it was funny in the moment and he tweeted it out. It happens. It gets the best of us. But it's should own up to it at least, but he's not going to. He's gonna spend 22 minutes defending why he should do it.
There are people in my community and in the left broadly who are saying, wow, Vaush really messed up here, really messed the optics up on this one, which is a little weird to me because people seem to be acting as though I was being misogynistic directly to J.K. Rowling as opposed to tweeting about the billionaire author just indirectly, right? Like, just to be clear on what we're talking about here, we are just talking about tweets thrown into the ether, which she screenshotted. So, not to say that doesn't mean it's not misogynistic or whatever, but there are people in my subreddit who are like, where was that thread? Because I scroll through it. Right?
I've already gone into the Twitter thing. It's just, especially for a large creator like Vaush, there's just no throwing into the ether. People are gonna look at it. You have too many eyes on you, dude. Twitter's designed for you to see people you don't want to see. YouTube is not like that. I've already made my point with that shit.
Right? Where it was like, Vaush really messed up the optics on this one. He really couldn't have handled this one worse. Oh yeah, Vaush handled the J.K. Rowling drama poorly. I don't know how I could handle it poorly because there wasn't really drama. I just tweeted something and then she screenshotted it, you know? Like, they're presupposing her screenshotting it as though that was something I anticipated. Like, can you imagine if everything we all said or did was subjected to the optical scrutiny of being screenshotted by somebody with 14 million Twitter followers? Like,
Vaush, that's the problem. Dude, it's fucking Twitter. Of course. You, of all people, should know that. Dude, how many subscribers do you have now? Bro, you're almost at 400K, my guy. Dude, there are a lot of people that know your name. There are a lot of people that love, adore you, and there are a lot of people that fucking despise you. You should already know that your tweets are going to be, like, on the radar. You're on everybody's radar right now. You're really, really fucking big. Everyone knows your fucking name. Not everyone, which is also the problem, like I described before. But a lot of people have eyes on you. And when they have eyes on you, they have eyes on your fucking Twitter. And like I said before, Twitter is designed in a way that even people who don't want anything to do with you are going to see your fucking tweets because retweets and quote tweets exist. It's just, there is no such thing as people not seeing the shit that you tweet, which is why you should be responsible what you tweet out because people are going to look at it. And you know this. People have smeared your name based on out of context clips on even YouTube. And it should be even harder for people to see your stuff on YouTube because nobody's going to watch some random YouTuber they don't like. People don't like Vaush, they're not going to watch a Vaush video. But even in that sense, people are still going to see your shit. And the chances of so knowing that, If you go over to Twitter, the chances increase tremendously because it's Twitter. It's designed for you to see everything. Everything. You just, I'm sorry. That's just what Twitter is, man. I mean, it's hard enough on YouTube. It's even worse on Twitter. So I'm saying you should be more responsible with this shit, bro.
Like, imagine anytime anyone on the left posts anything like, oh, well, you better watch out. You might get screenshotted by J.K. Rowling.
No. You specifically might get screenshotted by J.K. Rowling.
That'd be a little silly. I'll just lay out my points right here, okay? I think that the people who are hand-wringing over this are borderline defending J.K. Rowling by implication. So the people who are fretting over this are essentially siding with the transphobe, either because their optics or civility politics brained in a very liberal fashion, or because they hate me so much that they have to adopt any position which allows them to condemn me. And it may seem self-centered to say that, but like, there's a lot of that on the left.
Of course, there's a lot of that on the left. I think people hate you for very stupid reasons. But even at people that hate you, I would say that they're correct in criticizing you for this shit. In this sense, they are absolutely correct in criticizing you for it. The optics are really, really bad. The tweet never should have been made. It's not necessary. It's inconsequential. We lose nothing if that tweet didn't exist. What did we gain from you tweeting that out? The trans community has gained nothing. You have gained nothing. I have gained nothing. Nobody has gained nothing. We only lose.
God. Anyway, I'll lay the arguments out here, okay? There are a ton of edgy shit posters on the left, like a lot of them.
Oh,
oftentimes they say stuff which, optically speaking, is as bad or worse than some innocuous misogynistic shitpost, and I feel like if they got targeted by Rowling, we wouldn't be hand-wringing like this. Like, in ContraPoints' video on J.K. Rowling, she went over tweets of people being, like, really aggressive towards J.K. Rowling, like death threats and stuff, you know? And while Contra acknowledged that these were, like, harmful and bad, you know, she didn't really seem to want to focus the video on a condemnation of that behavior because, as she stressed, right, J.K. Rowling is a billionaire with incredible social power. In a way, you're really doing her a favor by pretending that tweeting something problematic with her name involved in it is somehow a concession given to her point. Like, let me give you guys a hint, all right? J.K. Rowling doesn't care about misogyny. You can read her books. They're not exactly, like, super progressive. She doesn't care. She cares about trans people and oppressing them. That's the thing she cares about. And this whole TERF movement is really just a conservative psyop with a very small minority of second-wave feminists being signal boosted by conservative media.
That's true.
Are there, like, mainstream feminist, like, you know, groups that are advocating for TERF stuff? Some, yeah, but overwhelmingly, when J.K. Rowling says something transphobic and gets retweeted, signal boosted, has videos made about them, it's from conservatives. People who are often fascists. I mean, a lot of these people think women should be barefoot and pregnant. Yeah. J.K. Rowling doesn't denounce the support because J.K. Rowling doesn't care that it's coming from them. She cares about support for her transphobia. So, a couple of points to that effect. First of all, conservatives don't care about misogyny. True. The only reason they prop up TERFs is because, well, it's the same reason they prop up Candace Owens, right?
Yes,
and Candace Owens accuses the Democrats of being racist while herself never criticizing or condemning the much more overt racism from the Republicans. It's a shield. It's a way of using woke language to form a wedge against, progressive politics, a way of separating people by invoking contrary language to defend a conservative talking point. The problem with that, in terms of condemning me for optics, is that conservatives don't care about misogyny. Conservatives care about degeneracy. Or to put it another way, if J.K. Rowling had found a tweet being critical of her, and then had screenshotted it and then followed that up with the AVI, the profile picture of that Twitter user, and it was like a trans person with 18 septum piercings, pink hair, or like, whatever else, that optically would have been as bad or worse from her side of the aisle than me being misogynistic.
What? Wait, I'm I'm trying so hard to follow what he's trying to say because he said a lot of technically true, objectively true stuff. But like, I'm trying to figure out why that justifies you putting out like a 3 sentence tweet that should not have been put out. Like, nobody wins from that tweet. I don't think any of what you just said justifies the tweet. Really, it doesn't. There are better ways to counteract all of these things that conservatives and turfs do. Saying women stay quieter does not propel the trans community further. It really doesn't. You just want an excuse to be edgy on Twitter, and because you think it's funny.
Doe, trans deer. Recently, Doe had that exact treatment delivered to it by a conservative radio host. I wonder if I could find that on Twitter, where Doe was saying essentially, not that I endorse this perspective, of course, Doe was essentially saying that conservative politicians should fear for their life.
That's
what a horrible
up.
thing to say about
Fucked
people
up.
trying to take away others' fundamental human rights. I know it's awful. If you could ever believe such a horrible thing being said or believed, but here, there, I found it. Look at that. CC, right here. See, Doe's making just a terrible, terrible point. So bad, so mean. And then there's a picture of Doe, who, from the conservative dynamic, certainly does look like a degenerate. Love it, not a criticism.
I mean, I think it's all right. I don't have a problem with that. That's true. Conservatives will look at that. They'll look at the words that you say, and then look at her picture, and then see pronouns in bio, and then just be like, "Look at the left. They're trash." I mean, technically, it's bad optics, but it's bad optics that we're going to have to put up with because it's not really a bad thing. Conservatives take those things and make them into bad things. It shouldn't be bad things, but they aren't. That's the only time optics should not matter. Those are one of the few times that optics should not matter. But for a tweet that we gain nothing from to put out, that should matter. Because the tweet has no reason to exist. I'm going to keep on hammering this in because there is no reason for that tweet to exist. It does not propel the trans community forward. It doesn't. It doesn't propel the left forward. It doesn't even propel Vaush forward. It doesn't. And Vaush just keeps playing these little games on Twitter. Like, he keeps like touching the hot stove because he thinks it's fun. There's no reason for him to do it. He just keeps on doing it. He keeps fucking stepping on the hot coals because it's fun. That's it. You don't have to do that. You gain nothing from doing that. You don't lose anything from not doing that. Why are you doing that? Stop doing that.
To conservatives, that is as, if not far more, of an optics failing than me just posting something misogynistic. A person making a solid criticism.
Doe being who Doe is and saying some really fucked up shit that actually, that's also the same thing. Well, Doe saying the awful shit that Doe said, I think was pronouns or it. Yeah, it's the awful things that it said, equally as awful as what you. Well, I'd say more awful, but both are just completely unnecessary. Point stands is that these things there's no reason for these things to exist, really. We should actually be trying to push people to do better than what they're doing. You should be expecting better from the left. Seriously. And if there's any trans people doing the ironic misogyny, I will condemn them as well. They shouldn't be doing that shit. You shouldn't be. No one should be doing this ever. We don't gain anything from this.
criticism of conservatives, while being fat, that's an optics failure. While being like ugly, that's an optics failure.
Yeah.
Guys, if you defend the rights of trans children, there are conservatives right now saying you should be thrown in jail for providing medical aid to them or assisting in the providing of medical aid to them as prescribed by real doctors. They want to pass laws against this. Do conservatives want to pass laws against being misogynistic on Twitter? No. So if you're seriously out here wringing your hands over how, well, Vaush is giving them ammunition for their arguments by being, no, you're falling for it.
You are. Dude, you are. You did. We all know they don't care about misogyny at all. But what do we gain from making it easy for them to hit us with these things? Isn't the whole point of this is to gain like an audience to bring people over to the left? All you're doing is making the left look more unappealing to those that are in the center or to the right. The right will weaponize these things and get their followers to look at you and say, look at the left, they're misogynistic. And the people that are on the right that actually care about misogyny but are just foolish enough to follow the conservatives or the Republican Party on it will believe what they say and naively assume that the left is full of misogynistic people and full of trans people that are also misogynistic, and that trans people are just rapists, misogynists, pedophile, all kinds of awful things like that. I just lost my train of thought. When they do that, we lose a potential audience, and we don't want to lose a potential audience. When we say that you're giving them ammunition, this is what they mean. We're trying to move people over to the left. You're making it harder by making it unappealing.
Calling for the framework they're constructing. The framework they're constructing is one in which they attempt to convince people that misogyny is the thing they actually care about. It's not, and they don't. So don't fall for the bait by playing into that with this, oh, well, you know, it was really irresponsible for Vaush to say something problematic about an incredibly large and influential celebrity.
It was irresponsible. It was. You can flame J.K. Rowling all you want. I'm not above fucking roasting J.K. Rowling's stupid ass fucking vanilla blonde British white ass. I don't give a fuck. Fire roast that bitch. You don't have to. You can do that without misogyny. Like, and I know I just called her a white bitch, but that's not me being racist, because I know. Come on now, it's whatever. I don't care. We all say dumb shit. Did I just blow myself out? Not really. Just drawing attention to the fact that she's white is not really doing anything.
You know the shit I've said about Donald Trump? Do you know the shit? Like, would you do this to me if it was Donald Trump screenshotting? He's not on Twitter anymore. God rest his soul. You know, all the stuff I've said about him. Oh, bad optics. You know, I see so many people on Twitter who will jump into the fire to defend the most optically indefensible, marginalized people. I see trans people on Twitter tweet the craziest shit, and you guys will dive into acid to defend them. And I support that, because you should never, ever.
I don't. I don't. I don't support that at all. Nope.
Ever allow optical concerns about people on your side of the aisle to prevent you from standing with them when they have a good point over the bad side, okay? What are you going to do?
How about just do what I did? You made a very good point. Me acknowledging that you made a good point and condemning the stupid shit that you said. I can do that. I think we're all doing that. Merrick did that. Everybody that's following you does that. Did that. Well, not everybody. I'd say half of people that follow you did that. It's not an either or thing, man.
Throw a trans person under the bus when they get quote tweeted by like Ben Shapiro because the trans person said something optically bad, like they said something like, seriously, You know, I don't like people who do the whole like ironic misandry as a way of being actually misandristic thing. But if a person was like, um, Ben Shapiro is a fascist, I hate men, and Ben Shapiro quote tweeted them going, "Ha, you hate men? Well, it looks like you're the real fascist then, aren't you?" Would you seriously go like, they're really providing ammunition? No, you fucking.
I would. I think it's stupid to say that shit to be on Twitter. On Twitter. I mean, honestly, if you said that shit on YouTube, well, it depends on how you word it. If because honestly, when it comes to Vaush's tweet, it may have been ironic, but if you look at it from an outside perspective, it does look like he's actually genuinely being misogynistic. But for a lot of people, when they do the ironic misandry thing, it's clearly a meme, and you can tell they're memes, and you can kind of see the sarcasm. They don't, most of the time they don't even need like outside require context outside context to see the fact that they're memeing. But when and some are actually do look optically bad. But the ones that actually look optically bad, I will criticize just as much. I promise you, I will, because I think it's dumb. And the things that I've seen made me cringe. And there are some misandric tweets or misandric memes that I've seen that I thought were funny. Some were cringe, some were funny. I criticize the ones that are really cringe and look really really bad.
Wouldn't. Come on. You did it because it's me. This hand wringing from my community,
I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of it, I wouldn't say a lot of it. I would say about 40% of it is just people that just performatively hate Vaush and want more reasons to justify their hatred of Vaush. But a lot of it is genuine criticism.
expect it because you all are optics frogs who learn every wrong lesson from me. But from the broader community,
Okay.
you are
Call me
doing
an
the
optics frog.
apologia for transphobia. It's very, very disappointing. And by the way, Rowling never would have screenshotted me if I wasn't misogynistic. So the people who are acting as though me being more in good faith would have led to like people are acting as though I was on a talk show with Rowling where I had the opportunity to say something constructive and I chose not to. If that was the case, I think any criticisms of me would be massively warranted because there's the potential for good faith engagement. But I was just tweeting, you know? She can screenshot and has screenshotted whoever she wants. She has quote tweeted trans people with like 500 followers, and those people then get death threats. They have to close their accounts. She didn't quote tweet me though. She screenshotted me. I wonder why.
Hmm.
It's funny that
Well,
I can
because
take the hate a lot
Rowling is a pussy. Yeah.
better than most of the people she harasses can. The point is, she goes looking for the bad look to go after, and as long as she's prowling around, and you know she does this, she drinks wine, she sits on her, no doubt, massive couch that costs more than most people's houses. Um, and she scrolls through Twitter on her phone and she bemoans how much of a victim she is. And she finds people who are saying mean stuff about her. And
I swear to God, like I said before, I swear all she did was search up her name and then she found that. That's I swear to you, that's what she did. I feel like she is just that sad and fragile.
like cry bullies over them, right? I would rather, if she was going to do that anyway, do that about me. Because if I hadn't said something misogynistic, she would have just done it to somebody else. And you wouldn't be wringing your hands over it because it wouldn't have been me, you know? I swear to God, for a lot of people on the left, disliking me is some kind of first order thing. The only point that I'm making is that it's okay to criticize the ironic misogyny, but the idea that this is some kind of optical loss, that there was some critical error made, or that I handled the drama incorrectly, as though every tweet that
Uh,
I, a medium-sized YouTuber, send into the void should be treated with the
there's a reason not every single one of your tweets explodes in your face like this one did. Might have something to do with the tweet itself, huh, bruh?
Necessary skepticism of you will be quote tweeted and screenshotted by a billionaire. Like, that's ridiculous.
You're just
Imagine if
reiterating
we
the
did
same
that
points,
to every
bro.
single person posting on the left, every shit poster, every edgy content creator. The Chapo boys have said stuff like, imagine, like, would you, if the Chapo boys said some, I have no doubt they've said negative stuff about Rowling. I have no doubt they've said like problematic stuff about, you know, a great many conservative people, because I've seen and heard them do it. Sometimes they're even funny when they do it. Imagine like that snippet getting posted. Look at these Chapo boys. Wow, I guess, you know, I guess the left really is racist. Maybe they made some edgy comment about like Candace Owens or something. I don't know. Would you all go, damn, Chapo boys really dropped the ball optically? No, you wouldn't. You would celebrate them being a shit poster, and you would make fun of the triggered right. And why aren't more people doing that? J.K. Rowling got
I'm all for triggering the right. We can do that without misogyny. We can do that without misogyny, bro. Trigger the fuck out of the right. I think it's hilarious, bro. Be as edgy as you want to, bro. You don't have to be like there's constructive edginess that's not optically bad, like your tweet was. Cause all your tweet was just women stay quieter. I know you were flipping like the original term on its head, but people who are actually misogynistic can also do that and promote misogyny. And aren't you one of the people that said yourself that jokes are like that the thing with jokes is that they promote a political message? Doesn't that tweet itself look like you're promoting a political message that misogyny is good in favor of trans rights? Because that's what it looks like. That's not what it is, but that's what it looks like, man. And you yourself agree with the fact that jokes can be used to promote bad things, like Dave Chappelle. His constructively crafted, his well crafted humor was used to promote transphobia. And you yourself said that there's no such thing as like ironic, you know, when people are just ironically misogynistic or ironically racist. 9 times out of 10, they're actually just promoting racist talking points because they just don't want to seem, and they just pretend it's like, oh, it's just jokes. Oh, I was just joking, man. You're doing the same. Oh, come on, I was just joking, bro. Come on. Oh, I didn't mean it. Come on, it was a joke. You're doing it, bro. You're doing the thing. You're doing the. It looks like you're doing the thing. Bro, dude. Yeah, and you're even defending the tweet. You don't even have to defend the tweet. You can just condemn it and move the fuck on. It is a 3-worded tweet, my dude. Why are you dying on this hill? Why?
triggered by me. She's a crybaby bitch. She's a massive baby. She's a billionaire with huge social power, and she was out there getting angry at some mid-sized YouTuber on Twitter for engaging in, you know, fairly light-handed misogyny. I can be way more misogynistic than that. Okay, I had the kid gloves on. I can go.
Please don't.
I'll
Please don't.
get me a real platform. Okay, I'll show you. Like in any sane world, people on the left should be clapping like seals, you know, screaming, ha ha ha, look at this. And now there are Newsweek articles with my name in it. You think J.K. Rowling looks good from all this? You seriously think the conservatives backing her up are going
No! Nobody's saying that. Like, it reinforces J.K. Rowling looking good to the people that already love and idolize her. The people that just might actually be genuine feminists, but are just, you know, like I said, naive and following J.K. Rowling because they don't know any better. And you're making yourself look bad to the people that don't know any better. That's the problem here. No, she doesn't look good, but she looks bad to the people that already don't like her. And to the people that she looks good to are the same people that already like her. You kind of made things harder for people to come to our side, because now you're just reinforcing bad messages about us.
To be more won over to the position of trans people being bad because I was misogynistic. Bro, transphobia doesn't exist because TERFs convince people that trans allies are misogynistic. Transphobia exists because conservatives think trans people are degenerates who are mentally ill and should either not exist or kill themselves. That's where transphobia comes from, not from J.K. Rowling. The TERF thing is a psyop. Christ, like you're like this would be like looking at the Candace Owens script and going, well, we really need to cut down on the number of people criticizing Candace Owens for being a grifter because all they're doing is reinforcing her narrative that black conservatives get targeted for their position. I can't believe you people. I can't.
Wait. I missed that part.
You're like, this would be like looking at the Candace Owens script and going, well, we really need to cut down on the number of people criticizing Candace Owens for being a grifter because all they're doing is
What? Are the people criticizing Candace Owens saying, niggers, stay silent? No, they're criticizing her because her rhetoric is shit. Her talking points are shit. She's a piece of shit. She's a fucking traitor to the black community. She's an Uncle Thomas. She's a fucking coon. That's what they're criticizing her for. They're not saying all that while also tacking on, niggers, stay quieter. No! This is not the same thing. It's not the same thing. And to the people that are doing that, fuck them. Disregard them immediately. They're shit.
Reinforcing her narrative that black conservatives get targeted for their position. I can't believe you people. I can't believe you people.
It's not the same thing, bro.
I think you're all doing apologia right now. And I think that personally...
Yo, whoa, what?
Apologia in line with J.K. Rowling's trans...
Apologia for what? For what? Nigga, explain, bruh. The fuck do you mean, apologia? Explain. No. Is Merrick doing apologia for J.K. Rowling when she criticizes you for your misogynistic tweet? No. No, the fuck we're not. Let's go back to the Candace Owens analogy that you made and that I instantly fucking debunked skillfully. If Candace Owens, if somebody, if let's say you yourself, or hold on, let's say Xander Hall. Sorry, Xander Hall. What if Xander Hall put out a tweet saying, Candace Owens is a piece of shit and she's a traitor to the black community? Something that I would agree with. And then he put attached another tweet to that saying, black people stay silent. Would I then be doing apologia for Candace Owens by saying, Xander Hall, you shouldn't have said that. That's pretty racist, bro. That looks pretty racist. I know you're trying to be funny, Xander Hall, but you shouldn't do that. You make the left look like a bunch of racists, and you reinforce the black conservative narrative. Would that then be me doing apologia for Candace Owens? Is that what apologia for Candace Owens looks like? No! That's not what that is! It's not fucking apologia in favor of J.K. Rowling. They're just criticizing a dumb, stupid-ass, retarded-ass motherfucking three-worded tweet that had no reason for being there. Not a single reason for being there. Not one. You could have removed that and everything would have just been fine. They would have been stagnant. But now that you have attached that tweet there, now we're all talking about that. We're all talking about you. We're all talking about fucking J.K. Rowling. It doesn't help anyone, my guy. It does not do anything for the trans community. It does not do anything for the left. It does not do anything for you. And you keep doing this shit because you think it's funny. You like being edgy on Twitter. I get that. I like to be edgy sometimes. But there's a time and a place for everything. And there's a way to be edgy. You don't just gotta... You just like... You think of a thing that you think is funny. And then you just tweet it out instantly with no forethought whatsoever. It's irresponsible. You're just promoting irresponsibility right now. Like, and this is just this thing that Vaush likes to do often because he likes to be edgy. He likes to be confrontational. He likes to stir up shit, which is fine. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with the way he does things, but like, there are times where he takes it a little bit too. He just takes it in the wrong direction. Because when he's being confrontational, or when he's being edgy, or when he's being obnoxious, even, it was always towards the conservatives or stupid tankies, and it would always rile them up, and it would always get them laser focused on him, and not focused on any trans person just trying to exist on internet spaces. And because lots of times when he does this shit, and he's just being as obnoxious as possible, it's a good thing because it gets more dumb fucks on the right more focused on him than anybody else. But sometimes he will take that, his little obnoxious behavior will bite him and the left in the ass. And I don't think he's willing to be responsible with him being intentionally obnoxious. Because I do believe it's intentional. I'm pretty sure he said himself he enjoys being obnoxious towards certain types of people, which is fine. But like, I think he thrives on conflict. That's what he really does thrive on conflict. He enjoys conflict. It's entertaining for him. But there are just certain things that just there's no reason for you to do this shit. There's just no reason for the types of for him to put out the types of tweets that he just put out. It doesn't help anybody.
Phobia is infinitely worse than me being misogynistic on Twitter on International Women's Day, which, grow a fucking spine, you fucking babies. Oh, wow, you should all be clapping like seals. This is funny as shit. And instead, you're one.
It could have been funny if constructed better. It's just dumb. It wasn't funny. Come on now. I can come up with some quote-unquote misogynistic jokes that are obviously ironic and obviously not, while also not attaching it to trans rights when we're talking about trans issues. I think it would be better if you did that without attaching that to the trans community, because now you have worsened relations with them and the broader society.
Whining and crying. To the people in my community, I forgive you for the mistakes that you've made. I understand that when I talk about the necessity of optics, you're under the impression that means that we should engage in a kind of respectability politic where we constantly, conform our behavior to optimize the, our image in the minds of the opposition.
Nope. That is not what we're saying. We're just saying be more responsible. That's it. That's it. That's the only thing that's remained consistent with most of the criticisms that I've seen. And that's the criticism that I have. Just be responsible. You can be confrontational. You can be edgy. Be responsible with that confrontation and edginess, bruh. Does it have to be this hard? It's not rocket science, bruh. Be careful. It's fucking Twitter.com. You know what it is. You know the bad narratives spun about you, and you're reinforcing those narratives. Why?
To make it impossible for them to criticize us. I got news for you folks, okay? And I feel I'm not trying to as long as we're defending trans people, they're the optical weak point, okay? Conservatives hate trans people on a fundamental and intuitive and intrinsic level, okay?
Yes, I agree.
If you're so concerned with modifying, like, then just go be Stonewall white gay people, okay? Realize that you finally got a little bit of public attention and throw all the trans people under the bus immediately. If you're so concerned about the possibility that conservatives are going to make you look bad, Ben Shapiro, J.K. Rowling, any of these big conservative accounts, look at what they quote tweet. Look at what they post. You think you're going to win their respect by not being misogynistic on international?
Nobody's talking about winning their respect. Just don't make us look like something that we're not. That's it. Yes, of course they're gonna take any little thing and spin it in a way that makes us look bad. But we don't gain anything by making it easy for them. That tweet that you put out made it easy for them. You gave them what they wanted. The harder we make it for them, the easier it is for us to debunk their stupid ass talking points. The stupider that they look, and the smarter we look. Can we just promote making things hard on conservatives? Can we just focus on can we focus on optics in a way that makes it harder for conservatives to spin untrue narratives about us? Because of course they're going to do that. But we should do everything we can to make it as difficult as possible.
Women's Day? No, you won't. You could be the nicest little bitch baby in the universe. You could be kind and civil. You could never be problematic. You could shave off all of the edgy shit posting, all the humor, all the...
Nope. Shave off the shitty jokes. The joke wasn't funny. I'm sorry, Vaush. The joke was not funny.
Problematic behavior you want from the left, but at the end of the day, you're still defending degenerates, and they're going to call you out for it. You're still pro-BLM, and they'll call you out for wanting cities burnt down. You're still pro-healthcare for trans children, and they'll call you out for wanting to groom children. You will never, ever be immune to their criticism. So the best thing that
we know that make it hard for them to spin bad narratives.
You can do, given that, is when you have the chance to make a good argument, make it. But at all other times, don't care. Don't care.
Nah. For you specifically, Vaush, with your almost 400k subscribers, you should be extremely careful. I'm sorry, you have a responsibility. You have a big following, and you have a Twitter account that's public and that has a shit ton of followers as well. You have a fuck ton of eyes on you. I'm sorry. With fame comes responsibility. And your fame, you are one of the many faces of the left to many people on the right. Your behavior can smear every single one of us. Your behavior smears the trans community. Your behavior smears BLM. Your behavior smears feminism, actual feminism. Your behavior smears socialism. Your behavior smears everything you stand for. When you just go on about this give no fucks attitude, you fall into this trap of just posting anything you want, whenever you want, without a single care in the world, without any consideration for what that could do for the things that you support. It's just not. You shouldn't. And I understand. I don't give a fuck when it comes to my core beliefs. Those are the only times I would say give no fucks. But when it comes to just making, to just putting out dumb tweets like you did, you should give as much of a fuck as possible. Especially when it comes to things that don't really push our agenda forward.
Refrain from caring. That's not a lack of adherence to optics. Optics works when you're making the argument. But I wasn't making an argument. I was shitposting. And if it wasn't me, it was going to be someone else. It's not as though J.K. Rowling picks her targets at a comparable level. There are a few people at her level of Publicity and notoriety. Hopefully I've made my point. Anyway, I forgive you all for being wrong. You have bought into the apologia for the
I'm sorry for being right, Vaush. Really, I'm so sorry. I hate to do it to you, man. Really, I do. Hate to see it, but I'm correct.
conservative side. That's very problematic of you, and I expect all of you to pay due penance by donating to me.
I know, Vaush. Very problematic of you to do something like that. It's crazy, man. It's wild, bruh. Wild.
The next stream to me this time, not to Ukraine. Okay, I want lots of money, because I feel like a celebrity right now with the Newsweek article, and celebrities make lots of money usually. So I want you to complete that aesthetic. I'll be streaming soon,
Can
and
I have some money too, Vaush? Give me money. I am POC. I would like money. I want to be rich.
I'm 50-50 on doing another mass ban from the subreddit. You know, but I think you guys are reasonable, and you'll come around to this. Okay, so just
Nah, I will not come around on this one. Sorry, I've made my stance months ago when it comes to edgy jokes on Twitter. There are just certain things that you just really should not post without context. And even if you have surrounding context, it's just really a bad idea to post those things. I made edgy jokes on Twitter, and I even make some edgy jokes on Twitter now. Probably shouldn't make them at all. I think I put one out like 2 days ago. It was a direct criticism of yours, but like, I don't know. It could be really bad optics. But
shut up and start apologizing challenge. The initial tweet with J.K. Rowling, if I had simply said that instead of women, that everything would have gone so much better. To which I have to say, you idiot, she wouldn't have screenshotted it then.
Why do you want her to screenshot it?
Do you think she still would? Do you, like, ContraPoint's video on J.K. Rowling is like 5 million views. It's not like J.K. Rowling is like looking for good faith criticism to modify her behavior in response to. Like, what do you?
She's not gonna listen. Period.
If only instead of
she's gonna listen with or without good optics, bruh. She's not gonna with or without good optics. She's just gonna disregard everything we say. Period. J.K. Rowling has made her stance, and we should treat her as the garbage she is because of it.
Tweeting this shitpost into the void, Vaush had made a 20-minute video with a concise breakdown of how J.K. Rowling's transphobia is harmful and that women aren't actually a threat from the existence of trans people. She wouldn't have screenshot it then. It just would have been nothing. It just would have been a tweet.
So? Why the fuck do you care about her screenshotting that shit? Why? What did we gain from her having eyes on us? Who gives a fuck about J.K. Rowling? Fuck her. I know she's a fucking turf demagogue with lots of followers and people that adore her, but we can gain her followers without even talking about her at all. Like, people that follow her are just gonna follow her, and if they want to find any opposing arguments, they're gonna find them. They're just going to find them. We don't gain J.K. Rowling's audience by having her look at us. We don't. We gain J.K. Rowling's followers by appealing to their by her ideas, her transphobic turfy ideas, and debunking them. Because the people that follow her follow a lot more people than just J.K. Rowling. Trust me, they do.
So what you're really contrasting is nothing at all. No engagement from Rowling, except for her no doubt screenshotting some other tiny little trans account or, whatever, compared to what has happened here, what actually did take place. And I'm happy that what happened. Because it's very funny, and it doesn't hurt anyone, and you need to get over yourselves and just enjoy the sheer absurdity of it all, okay? I'll stream soon. I love you.
It would have been funnier if you were just talking shit about her directly instead of just women, to be honest with you. Pretty sure she would have gotten equally as big mad if you were just calling her a piece of shit. She would have been big mad still. Without the misogyny, bruh. I don't think we gain anything from her even screenshotting in the first place anyway. We don't. Especially with what she screenshotted, because all it did was just make us look more unappealing. Oh God. What a shit video. What a shit video. What a shit argument.